Hey, it's Lee. 9 months to 100 kilometers. I can't believe that it's just less than 4 weeks to go. So we're about 8 months in now. 8 months ago, I started this challenge. I started the challenge to I guess train to do two events. First event was the London Marathon, and then the second event is the Lakes Ultra, the 100 kilometres. I never planned at the start to do two events, but my fear or my dislike for being rejected made me apply for two separate events. I've done one. My original plan was just to do the London Marathon, but because my cancer research application got turned down by the cancer research team for the London Marathon, I held it personally against the London Marathon. So I then decided to try to find something bigger and better to do, and then signed up for the Lake District Ultra on the 8th of June, and then I had a little niggle that made me think, oh well, I've been rejected by the London Marathon, so I should sign up for the London Marathon for somebody else, because then at least I've achieved what I actually wanted to do. My desire, my reason, my thing was to do the London Marathon. And the reason why I'm labouring this point at the minute is because motivation is absolutely rock bottom. I am really, really struggling doing any miles. 2 weeks ago, I managed to do 50 odd miles over a week. Last week, it was probably half of that. This week, it's going to be a similar distance as well, but it's an absolute slog. It's an absolute struggle. It's really not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be running. But I am going to, and I'm going to complete it because I've committed to it. I've signed up to it. I've got sponsorship for it, and I'm doing it for I've got a really strong reason and really strong cause to do it. But what I've realised is I feel like I've peaked. I feel like I've peaked at the London Marathon, running with 58,000 other people, with 1 million people lining the streets, raising £3,500 for Macmillan, having my family with me. It was just the perfect day, perfect event. I managed it, pretty much hit my target time, my revised target time, not my original time when I was completely uninformed. Pretty much hit my target time, just a couple of minutes off it, but I did go to the toilet twice. I feel like I achieved what I set out to achieve. And then 3 weeks to go now, I've got to do 62 miles or 100 kilometres on the 8th of June, and that seems like a really, really far way to go. Motivation is a struggle, and what I've got to try to find is reasons to motivate myself. I've got to remind myself of the reason why I'm doing it. I've got to really drag myself out. I've got to find people. So in fact, one thing that worked really well when I was training for the marathon, I was working with a guy called Ian, and we got into a routine of every single Tuesday we would run, and then I would be then held accountable for the other miles during the week. Since I've stopped working with Ian, and since the London Marathon has been, I have not had anybody holding me to account on the thing. So the number of people I'm working with is it's a far smaller team now. I've realised that the level of accountability that I'm being held to is far less now, because I've not got somebody to run with, although albeit I am actually going out running with somebody tomorrow night, a guy called Rob. But it's been a struggle motivating myself, and it just really showed me that it's not the distance, it's not the charity, it's the level of accountability that has had the biggest impact on my progress. That I cannot say how important it has been to have an accountability partner, to have somebody else invested in the journey with me. Currently, don't get me wrong, people are invested in the journey with me, but they're not holding me to account on the level of intensity or of the amount of running or whatever that I need to do to finish this event in a healthy way. So this whole journey has been fascinating for me. I've learned so much about myself, the importance of diet, the importance of fueling, the importance of mindset, the importance of the right running gear, level of training, gradually building it up. But the one thing that's made the biggest difference for me is support and encouragement, but fundamentally the accountability. The accountability of having that somebody's holding me to account on the miles that I'm doing each week. Somebody holding me to account on the number of times. It's like the intensity and frequency. That's probably the thing that's been the biggest thing. So in my day job, I often talk about the way that you develop habits in organisational habits or personal habits in people and businesses is that you need to have intensity and frequency. Intensity is around the strength of reason. It's about the level of effort. It's about the amount of conviction in the thing. It's like if you go to the gym, you can pedal on an exercise bike. You can either just pretend you're on a country road in the sun, or you can actually go hell for leather for a particular period of time. There's a different level of intensity. There's a different level of intensity when you are, or a different level of effort that you put into absolutely everything and anything. So intensity, strength of reason, level of effort, those types of things, and then the second part is frequency. So how often do you apply that level of intensity? How often do you do it? Is it just a Monday? Is it once a month? Is it once a year? Or is it every single day as well? And to have somebody holding me to account on the frequency and the intensity and the frequency of the application of my training has been fundamental. And since I've lost that, I have not held myself to account. So my personal, I guess, with some things, I'm extremely disciplined with. I give myself a good talking to, and but with the levels of intensity, the level of frequency. I've had a podcast for 5 years, never missed an episode, every single week. So I've got strength of reason to do it. I put varying amounts of effort in. Some weeks less than others, or some weeks more than others. But the frequency is always there. My training plan for the marathon, absolutely nailed it, and it was a successful event. Since then, it's not been the same story. So really, when I'm thinking about this 100 kilometres and my journey from 9 months or 8 months ago to 100 kilometres, the one thing that's had the biggest impact is the accountability. So if you want to achieve a goal, if you want to achieve a destination and you don't hold yourself to account, how do you encourage others, or who and how can you really use to help you hold yourself to account? I've found that I'm far happier letting myself down than letting others down. I'm happy to let myself down, and that's what I've done so far. I've let myself down on this on this journey since the London Marathon, because I've not had anybody else to let down. So I've just naturally let myself down. And if I had somebody else that was holding me to account, then I wouldn't let myself down, and I wouldn't let them down. It's fascinating how we are all motivated by different levers, different triggers, different things. And this has been my one big learning since the London Marathon, because the level of reason and strength is still there. The reason why I'm doing it still exists. The charity money still keeps coming in. But the one thing that has changed is my level of accountability to somebody else, and just how much or how happy or how easy I find it to let myself down. I let myself down because I've not got somebody holding me to account. And I think this is just the whole thing about in life, isn't it? I think whether we have people to hold us to account on the things that in how we are and what we do. So this has been an absolutely massive reflection for me since the London Marathon. Tomorrow I get out again, I go running again. I've got somebody else that I'm running with, and my aim is for the final few weeks to do what I can to make up on lost ground and hold myself to account by asking somebody to hold me to account. Have an amazing week, and I'll keep you updated very soon. Take care.